Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, FCA released official pricing on the brand new 2018 Dodge Durango SRT. This is the top of the tree when it comes to the Durango lineup, coming with a 6.4-liter normally aspirated Hemi V8, making 475 horsepower and 470 pounds-feet of torque. That is shipped through an 8-speed ZF gearbox, and the vehicle is all-wheel drive. This vehicle will be available in dealer showrooms in the fourth quarter of 2017 with a starting price of $64,090 US. So if you want to get your grubby little mitts on one, you better get down to your FCA dealership right away. Next up on the list, we talked about this rising star, or I guess you could say superstar, inside of the motorcycle industry who passed away tragically in a cycling accident in Italy, and that is Nicky Hayden. In fact, one of the biggest of the big stars, all the way up to becoming champion in MotoGP. Only a handful of Americans have actually pulled off that feat. Well, Mr. Hayden's going to have a tribute to him that's going to be for the rest of time, and it comes from the American Motorcycle Association, the AMA, that has an award that they give out every year called the AMA Horizon Award, which is given out to a young amateur talent working his way up the ranks to becoming a superstar in professional motorcycle racing. In fact, Mr. Hayden actually has a link to this several years ago. In fact, 1997, he was the first ever AMA Horizon Award winner. And from here forth, this award will be called the Nicky Hayden AMA Horizon Award, which is a fitting tribute to a fantastic fellow who was gone way too soon. Next up on the list, an interesting little story involving the new Valkyrie from the folks over at Aston Martin and Red Bull, because everybody is anxiously awaiting the production version of this machine that's going to be coming out possibly later this year, where we get to see exactly what this vehicle is going to look like. But there has been reports that this vehicle has actually already been sold out in its limited run form. But a weird little situation involving a dealership in Dubai who apparently has the spot. They have a set spot. They are going to get a Valkyrie. They're selling that spot on the old open market, and it has now brought on the wrath of Aston Martin. In fact, the head of Aston Martin has now come down hard. They said if this dealership ends up selling this spot, they will pull them off the list. Not only pull them off the list, but that person who purchased that spot, they're off the list too. In fact, if anybody gets caught doing this, not only are you off the list to get a Valkyrie, you're off the list for any future high-end limited edition Aston Martin or Red Bull organization special edition vehicles. You are off the list entirely, banned forever. So obviously, better wait till you get your grubby little mitts on the car before you actually go out selling it for a profit. Last up on the list, I'm going to tell a little story about a lovely, lovely lady by the name of Terry Chandler. Terry Chandler actually became quite wealthy in her own business along with her husband, Chandler Aviation, but she came to my knowledge through the sport of NHRA drag racing. Miss Chandler was actually following around her brother, Johnny Gray. Johnny Gray had raced NHRA drag racing for a long, long time. Raced for a while in Pro Stock and also raced in Funny Car. In fact, his last go-round of racing, well, at least till a couple of months coming up, where he may step back into a Pro Stock car alongside his son, Shane Gray, and his grandson, who is tearing it up on the circuit. One of the youngest kids, in fact, the youngest Pro Stock winner in history, who's actually ripping up the old NHRA actual record book, becoming the youngest driver ever. But Terry actually was hanging out with her brother, Johnny Gray, who was doing a tribute car to their late father, who had came from nothing to be one of the big guns in the oil industry, and did a big hoorah, gorgeous looking race car that they actually raced to the end of the year. Well, Terry Chandler actually fell in love with NHRA drag racing, fell in love with Don Schumacher Racing, the organization that Johnny Gray was actually working with at the time, and fell in love with the people and everything about it. Loved it to death. In fact, took over her brother's race car at the end of his cycle, stuck Jack Beckman into the car, and instead of putting Chandler Aviation, which is on the car but in smaller segments, along with some other little sponsorships that actually pay into the company, but put a logo on the car free of charge to this organization. That organization is Infinite Heroes, which is a group that raises money for injured soldiers coming back from the theater of war. This is actually an organization which started by Oakley, the sunglasses folks. And they put the Infinite Hero logo on the car all year, free of charge. In fact, Terry Chandler just writes a check to sponsor the automobile for the year. In fact, she had so much fun with this, and she loved giving back to the community, that she put another car together with longtime NHRA racer Tommy Johnson Jr. at the wheel, and put another great charity on the side of that particular funny car, that being the Make-A-Wish folks, who actually grants wishes to terminally ill children in the last days of their life. And Miss Chandler has funded these two teams over the past several years and has absolutely loved every minute of it. The cars have done quite well. In fact, got a couple of cars that are really looking good to maybe win the championship this year. But sadly, Miss Chandler will no longer be with the organization, as she had contracted brain cancer and passed away on July 4th of 2017, just a handful of days ago. What a beautiful lady, and do so much great good for so many great charities and for the group that is the NHRA. In fact, the day after the taping of this program, I'm going to be heading to Chicagoland Speedway, Joliet, Illinois, to the next stop on the tour. I'm hoping they're going to have a fantastic tribute to a fantastic lady, and that's why she got a spot here on the Motor Cars, because she is a fantastic lady. I hope to see you again on the other side, Terry Chandler. What a special lady. Sad to see her pass away at the age of 65. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time. Get the first dibs of the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.